All right, team. Well, first of all, well done. 2 down, 1 to go. And don't worry, we've definitely saved the best till last. I know everyone that did this one last year was absolutely fizzing on it. It's an epic stage. Basically 90% single track, covering, the large majority of the epic trails that are out there on Matangi Station. Obviously, a large part of it from the bike park, but then a whole heap more extra ones out the back that we've been lucky enough to get access to again for this race. So, yep, it's going to be a good day. Weather's looking good. It will be warm again and hopefully not too chilly at the start, but I think a high of 22 tomorrow. So you will need plenty of water out there. So the start is up here at Matangi Station Woolshed. This is about 5k further along the road from the prologue start, which is about here. So you carry on the same road for another 5k, give or take, and you will see the start finish location. Again, we will have separate car parks for A, which will be in, you carry on past the start finish, and you'll take a left in to park in around behind the woolshed. And for wave B, you'll carry on past the start finish and turn right into a paddock here to park. It's about 10k all up from Alex, or maybe just over to the woolshed. So, and it is, as you know, quite a windy, hilly gravel road, so allow plenty of time, roughly 30 minutes to get out there. Start times A is the same, 7:45, and we've decided, given on today's timings, just to bump the B group up to 8 a.m. tomorrow. So that's just a 15-minute gap in between. So just bear that in mind. Right, so on to some course details. Start is a short kilometre or so up the road that you just come in on. And then you take a sharp right down onto some four-wheel drive tracks in this gully, quite fast, and flowing four-wheel drive track through here. And then you have quite a pinchy climb out of that gully. One thing we did get a bit of last year, just with the early start and the sun rising, there's a bit of sun strike when you're heading out this direction, just for the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes or so. So yeah, if you encounter that tomorrow, just be really careful. If you can't see that well, just take it slowly. This sort of first loop that you do is through some rolling open farm countryside. So some nice flowy tracks and rolling climbs through there. You come back down to almost join onto the road where you enter the first sort of water race single track that idles along here, and then you will hit the dark canyon descent. Now this has got a couple of features that are somewhat technical. Again, they're really short, they're not steep, but they're rocky and tricky. So if you have to get off and walk, if you're not sure, just bear that in mind on that descent. Most of it is quite flat and flowy, but there are just a couple of rocky sections in there. You have a nice windy single track climb back up to the high point. We start another long descent. This one's called TT. This is a pretty well suited XC style single track descent. Pretty fun on an XC bike. A fair bit of winding in and out on water race trails through the next sort of section. You're mainly heading downhill. This is sort of down through here on the profile, and along, you'll start to see the Mannaburn Reservoir sort of down below you, just right at the bottom of that descent, just before you turn back to head back towards Alex. There is another rock roll sort of section. We'll have a marshal there to warn you that it's coming up. It's totally rideable, but it is another tricky one. You've probably figured out by now, but if in doubt, you follow the pink dots. that's what our course marking team spends hours and hours and hours doing, is letting you guys know the best way to ride these features. So you can always trust them. And if they're there for a reason. A fair bit of water race track all the way back along. So this is sort of the flattest section of the course, all the way back towards Alex and to the aid station, which we have actually just moved that about 500 meters further along from where it was positioned last year. So you will hit it after you've done the climb on the tar seal rather than before. So you have a short, steep climb on the tar seal up to the sort of old water tanks, and there's a big clearing, big flat level space out there where once you get to the top, you can have a wee break and refuel before entering the next single track, which is another flat sort of water race section all the way back through. Couple of climbs up the road. Again, this is the road that you've driven all the way in and on, so you will be familiar with it, but we need to be careful of traffic, especially event traffic coming in and out. So if you have people that are going to be out here watching for you, just remind them that you'll be riding on those roads, and you need to be aware that they might be coming around some of the corners, and you need to be on the left-hand side. This section here you'll be somewhat familiar with from the prologue. Some of the tracks you do slightly in reverse, and then some you do the same way, which most importantly, that you do the main descent of the prologue, the resurrection descent, the first one down to the bottom of the climb, you do that again, but instead of going up the hill, you turn left, or you carry on straight, essentially, down the rest of the rock garden gully, and that pops you out down by the shaky bridge in Alex. You follow the road all the way around, and you enter into the AC track. This is a long, steady, single track climb that brings you all the way back up, all the way up to this prologue start finish, back up the descent that you did at the end of the prologue, and then drop down into the head of this gully that you went through in the prologue. And from here, you start the last big sort of climb. And this is sort of this point here on the elevation, and all the way back through this. Again, this is pretty big open countryside, some pretty stunning vistas from up here. We got some epic photos last year. It's a pretty cool section. And then you drop down, and the last 5 or so K is mainly downhill on some fast sort of rolling farm roads. So a nice way to finish off the day. And then right onto Little Valley Road, a few hundred meters, and then turn into the start finish, and you're done. So the plan for tomorrow with prize giving for all our categories is to do it as a rolling prize giving as the categories have finished the stage. So we just, we'll try and be as efficient as possible with getting that sorted and not hold you guys up too much if you want to head off. But if you can just be wary that we'll be trying to call you up if you think you might be in the top 3 in your category overall, hang around for those presentations. We'll also be handing out more of our spot prizes from all our sponsors, and of course the awesome main spot prize from Cannondale, that Scalpel SC frame set. So you have to cross the finish line tomorrow to be in the draw for that one. So good luck, guys, all the best, and we look forward to seeing you out there again.